What's going on, everybody? Josh, StarterAndGutterBusiness.com. Today we're going to be looking at gutter screens. We're going to show you guys the pros and cons of a few different types that we use, and we're going to see which one is right for you. Follow along. All right, so we have three different types here. We have two different micro screens and then a bulldog screen from Lansing. So we're gonna start out with a fitment test, kind of show you guys what we found, how they fit in the gutter and how they install. And then we're gonna do a water test and we'll see how that goes. So here we go. All right, so we'll start off with Bulldog from Lansing. This is, in my experience, the easiest to install. I mean, it only has one layer of metal, so that is helpful. And it seems to just fit really well in 5-inch gutter. So you just the best way to do this is to get that back onto the drip edge, up on top of your hanger screws, and then start from one side and just push it down. Goes right on. Usually put a zip screw on each end and then a couple in the middle, hold everything down. And if it's waving at all in the front from buckles in the house or whatever, throw a couple screws in just to make sure it all looks clean. Corners are really easy with it, just overlap them, zip screw them together. And this stuff comes with I don't know if this piece has it or not. Shoot, this is a scrap, so it doesn't, but this stuff comes with a tab on one side so that it overlaps really well, one piece to the next. So it makes it really nice to just throw one in, pop your next one in right on top of that one, zip screw them together, and works really good. So these come in a little longer lengths. I believe they are 7-foot lengths. So that kind of makes it go a little faster too, because you can throw in a 7-footer at a time, and you can handle a 7-foot piece on a ladder, kind of reach everything. So that makes it a little quicker. The biggest downfall of it is you don't want to use this in the pine needle area. The pine needles stick in and then they just poke out everywhere, and so you just see a pine needle afro in your gutter. So they just stick out of there and kind of clog up all the holes. And whereas this like a micro screen style doesn't have that issue, because the screen mesh is pretty fine and it won't allow needles to stick into it as easily. So, all right, now we'll go to HydroFlow. HydroFlow from US Aluminum. I've been using this some lately, and it's a fairly new product for them, I think. And it seems to be working really well. The biggest difference for me is it has really good dropped troughs in this frame, which allows water to set into that frame and then go through to the gutter. Whereas this next one, Champion, will show you, is kind of pancaked, and it allows water to skate over it easier. So another kind of cool thing about this is the screen is not crimped into the frame, so you can slide it a little bit and then interlock your pieces together. So your screen from your next piece would slide butt into this screen here. And it kind of gives it a little strength because it doesn't allow those pieces to move separately, locks them together. This also comes with little end caps that are kind of nice. So one thing that I found from poor installation is that these screens, if it's raining hard, they tend to, water flows in these troughs, and then if you set this too close to the end cap, water shoots in this trough and then over the end cap and makes the customer think their end cap's leaking. So these little end caps they build for this clog that end trough and let the water just all go through, and you butt that end cap into your gutter end cap, and it helps out quite a bit. So fitment on this one is also really good. Same thing, just kind of go like that, work it on from one end to the other, back above your screws in the back. Kind of rests on the hangers. You don't want this setting at an angle tipping down towards your house, because water can, go back. Especially, you want to make sure that it's at least higher than like this level, because you don't want all that water draining back on this back edge towards your house. So keep that in mind. They also just started making pre-made corners for this. So you guys that aren't very good with tin snips, you can buy pre-made corners and slap them in, ready to go. All right, now next, Champion gutter guard. So I have had a lot of issues with this stuff. The fitment's not great. You can see this is like pancaked. The screen mesh is pancaked right on top of the frame. It's also crimped in, so it doesn't move around. That is can be helpful with installation, but when you get this out of the box, every one of these has a ding in this lip that's supposed to set into your gutter. So you have to straighten it out before you install it. And then it is a little tighter than everything else out there. So you really gotta, I wish I don't have a full piece of this right now, but if you could imagine a full piece of this is a little harder. So you get one end started, and the same thing, just work it on like that. I've had a lot of issues with water skating over the front of this stuff. That has to do with this deep trough that this doesn't have. There's kind of nowhere for excess water to go while it's kind of filtering through there. This has a finer screen on it, which can get algae on it or oil easier. And then like oil from your shingles will make water skate across it easier. And then it kind of flexes the whole gutter out because it's such a tight fit that it's like jammed in there. So this also comes in 4-foot lengths as well as the HydroFlow. So it makes it a little bit more time consuming to install. Especially on a long stretch, you're just doing 4 feet at a time. So I usually bring up 2 pieces with me on the ladder, put the ladder up in the middle where the 2 pieces are going to go, and then one on each side of me. But gives you more seams, kind of more failure points, and length isn't that big of a deal either way, but just something to mention. So now we will go do a water test on these bad boys and show you some things I've noticed with high flow water areas. Hey, thanks for making it this far in the video. Hope you guys are enjoying the content. Make sure and like, subscribe. That really helps our channel grow and helps us get a little motivation to make more videos for you guys. So also just to let you know, we've been having a lot of questions about business related things, and we have kind of all those thoughts organized into a new course for you guys. So make sure and check our course out, starterraingutterbusiness.com. We'll have a link below in the description. Thanks for watching. All right, so now the water test. This is always hard to do in a sink, but real world experience, this Champion gutter guard, I have a lot of issues with this stuff, with water skating over the screen. So I've used this the last few years and kind of pulled my hair out with it, if you can't tell in this video. So it works fine for some projects, but others it just water skates over in all the high flow areas. And anyways, we'll just see how these do under the sink. So kind of show you guys how this stuff works. So you can kind of see, like, when the water's flowing good, it's just kind of shooting right over. And that is a decent rainfall, but imagine having, like a downspout on an upper roof or a valley, and it comes down, and they're like a high flow water area. Water just, is all pushed into one spot and skates right over the front. So what that ends up with is, big streaks down your gutter, or if you have, obviously you're putting a rain gutter up, so you want that water to go into the gutter. So I'll keep that water going at the same speed, and we'll kind of see how these other ones do. One thing to mention with water flow, you can see this one's really flat on the top. This one has a bead that drops into the gutter, so that helps keep that water from shooting over that edge. So this is just standard holes. I mean, all of it's going in. A lot of it is coming to the front of this and then kind of pooling in the front, but it's still going through and not draining over. Maybe a couple drops, but nothing near as bad. And all of these have a little bit of oil on them when you first get them, manufacturing oil. So I always kind of warn my customers about that the manufacturing oil can kind of cause water to skate over them initially. But yeah, this stuff works pretty good. As long as you don't have a bunch of pine trees. Probably just the simplest, best option if you just have leafy trees. As far as screen goes. And the HydroFlow. So this does have a little bit bigger mesh, and then it has a trough right at the front edge that water is supposed to go into. I don't know if that works or not, but I think that the mix between the little bit coarser mesh and those drain troughs, this stuff works quite a bit better. So you can see water's still the same. I mean, if you go way up here to the front, that's still going in. It's kind of going out the end, so we need an end cap. But you can see it's just kind of going straight through that thicker mesh and into those troughs below and straight into the gutter. And that's how it's supposed to work. All right, so out of these three products, if you guys are looking for a cheap product and don't have much water flow, Champion works all right. A little harder to install, but it is what it is. You only have to do it once, usually. Once every 10 years or something. Bulldog, easiest to install. I would say probably the most recommended out of screens, as long as you don't have pine needles. So if you have pine needles, I wouldn't recommend Bulldog screen. The last one, HydroFlow, I would say it's probably the best micro screen product that I've tried so far. Has the end caps that come with it. It actually comes with screws to install it in the box. Has the deeper troughs that we had talked about earlier, a little thicker mesh that drains water a little easier and won't grow algae as easy. And then the screen kind of slides around so you can interlock it together. So with all that being said, this is kind of what we're going for now as far as that's what we're selling now for customers that want a screen product. If they have pine needles, and then if they don't, Bulldog, just because it's easier to install, goes a little quicker. And there you have it. Hope you guys learned something. Make sure and comment below, subscribe, like. We'll see you on the next one. Thanks for watching.